a special guest, Kassandra Sanchez. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good. Little tired and on an energy drink. Good to go.
I feel you on that. Same here. It's been a busy day. So, just to get started, can you give us a little bit of background? Can you tell us about yourself?
Yes. So I am a senior front-end developer at an agency. I build a bunch of, well, our agency builds a bunch of really cool shit stuff. Um, I love making CSS art. So just like photorealistic images out of CSS and HTML. Um, that's pretty much just like my fun little side hobby. You know, some people knit, some people watch TV shows, and I like to make CSS art, so that's like my main thing. And I like to play with different weird animations. I'm trying to learn 3JS and like 3D rendering and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I really love all of this, all of the front end development stuff.
Yeah. How important do you find the fact that you actually love it to, when it comes to career? Like, do you find like liking your career is important?
Absolutely, because if you're not, I feel, in my opinion, obviously, like I feel like if you're not trying to like figure out new things, or if you don't have like some sort of curiosity and excitement about it, you're not going to like improve as fast as someone who does have curiosity, who does like on their own free time be like, oh, I wonder how they made this, and like let me try to figure that out. Like, cuz if you don't really find like passion or care that much, then you're fine either way. It's just you're not going to, I don't think you're going to advance as much. And I think the passion and the excitement and the creativity and all of that, it really like shows in your work as well.
Absolutely. How did you get into coding, and when did you find like this is what I really want to do?
Yeah, so I initially went to school for architecture. That was a very like hands-on design, and I do mean like hands-on like building things and a lot of drawing and realistic drawings. So I hated the architecture part, but like the artsy part was kind of fun. But I dropped out, so then I was kind of floating around for a little bit, didn't know what I wanted to do, and then my mom needed a website for something, and so I was like, oh, okay, I think maybe I could figure this out. There are like a bunch of tutorials out there, so I started making her one in WordPress, and that's where like the whole CSS thing came up, because trying to like edit a nav bar, change a color of something, if you don't know CSS, it's pretty impossible. So from there, I just started reading tutorial after tutorial, realized I hated WordPress. So went with just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and took a lot of self-learning. I don't do very well in like boot camps or like actual class environments. It is not my thing. But self-learning is where I just completely thrive, apparently. So um, a lot of self-learning and stuff like that, and then um, found like a super junior job after maybe like 6 months of building that site and trying to like learn things by myself. It wasn't even like a web design job. It was called web content administrator, which was literally just editing HTML files and CSS files. But they were amazing because they let me just kind of, you know, I was so excited to even just like be there and like being able to do that, that someone would even hire me for this, because still super fun thing to do, that they just kind of, build landing pages that are like super creative and weird, and they were excited because I was excited. And then, I don't know, it's just, yeah, that's how it started. And uh yeah, and then the pandemic hit, and there was so much boredom there that I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to do, I saw on Twitter 100 days of code. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I was like, you know what, maybe I'll do that. I'll try that out. I don't think I'd even posted anything on Twitter before. So uh every day I started posting something, like just anything, like these are how I learned CSS transformations, or like this is how you move this from here to here and stuff like that. And it just snowballed into CSS art and stuff. And that's, yeah, just literal consistency and curiosity.
Absolutely. I see you've gained quite a bit of following for your amazing CSS art. Has you posting this stuff on LinkedIn, like just the fact that you're really visible, has that given you opportunities you wouldn't have had before?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I even like posted something similar to that sentiment on Twitter the other day, and my previous manager like ended up commenting on it and being like, "Yeah, no, she's right. That's literally how I found her." He saw my CSS art and he had his recruiter contact me and try to get me over there. So yeah, like absolutely. And that's how I got my most recent job too. And
Yeah, I
I
do
mean,
find.
I've even had interviews and they're like, the only reason I even decided to interview was because I saw what you were doing.
Yeah, that is extremely important, especially in times like this when a lot of people are getting laid off. I think a big mistake a lot of people make is like, once I get the job, I'm gonna disappear and disengage from the community.
Yes. Yes. And that's very easy to do too. You get kind of complacent and that's totally okay. Like I actually even did that last year. I think I didn't post anything new for a very long time, like a very long time. And that's okay. I coasted and then you just kind of find your creative spark again and then you start up again. But yeah, I think it's important. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but I think it definitely helps.
Exactly. You kind of mentioned like you're more of a self learner. I find I'm the same way. Like I like taking courses. I don't like somebody looking over my shoulder and putting time limits on me. What is your strategy for learning? Are you more of a book person or just experimenting?
Um, I literally do everything. Like I'll take a video course, but I'll supplement it with tutorials and then I'll try like random things that, a blog on the fourth page of the Google search results gives me like a million tabs open until I figure it out. Just there's no like one answer for me. I really just try to follow one big course, uh, and then supplement that with a million other little articles and little things. So seriously, thank God for content creators and like everything that they put out because I would not be anywhere if it weren't for them.
Absolutely. So speaking of content creation, you're creating a course, aren't you?
Yes, yes, I'm creating a course about CSS art. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to be out in May, hopefully. I'm working really hard to like video everything as fast as I can and get everything together. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. It's going to be really in depth on just CSS and CSS art, but also CSS in general.
How has that process been of creating your own course? Was it like more difficult or easier than you expected?
Um, I don't know actually. I don't know even exactly what I expected. I just kind of jumped into it head first and um apparently I hate the sound of my own voice. I did realize
Yeah.
that. I hate it. It's awful. Oh my gosh. But and I'm very awkward in front of a camera if I know what I'm trying to say. I need to record like 80 times because I can never get it right and I start stuttering and like I apologize to myself for no reason. I'm just like real weird about it. But it's good. It's a good learning opportunity and it's getting a lot easier as I go along.
Yeah, I know what you mean about hating the sound of your own voice is pretty much why I don't edit my own videos. I don't really like listening to myself. So I understand
Yeah.
the pain there.
Yeah. Yeah. When I
So,
first heard it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I sound like. Why didn't anyone
so,
tell me?
so we actually got a question from the audience. Shamika says, how important is having an online presence as far as being a front end developer?
I think it's pretty important. At the very least, you need to have a portfolio. And I was actually talking to, sometimes I have like coffee chats with developers who are, learning and trying to break into the industry. And I was talking to one earlier this week, and I think I was telling her the most important thing I feel is definitely a portfolio, and to stand out on top of that, add something a little bit weird to your site, like just anything, something like if you look at my site, I have like a weird kind of static background. Like that's weird. That people are always just like, oh, I like your weird static background. Like add some, because so many portfolios look the same, like because people come out of boot camps, they all learn the same thing, they all put the same things in their portfolio, but just like adding one weird animation, like it doesn't even have to be super complicated, because like even the static effect is so easy to replicate. Like it's just something weird, just stand out a little bit. So yeah,
Absolutely.
sorry, a little off topic, but yes, I absolutely do think a portfolio is important, but I don't think you need to have like a huge following or anything like that.
Are you? Is there any strategies you're pursuing to really build up your following? Because I believe you're at like 10K now.
For LinkedIn, I didn't even really post on LinkedIn that much until this year. It was I've mostly been focusing on Twitter, but I'm now like kind of cross posting both of the things. So it's pretty much just posting every day, and I really like making like little memes and stuff like that. I think it's so fun for me sometimes. And then posting CSS art, but I just like posting every day. That's pretty much what my strategy is. At least once a day, say something.
So like, are you experimenting with any frameworks like Angular, React, or what do you typically use?
So no, actually, like I could, but at work we pretty much just use our own framework, which is something the owner of my agency built, which is pretty great, and it's extensive and it has everything we need. So yeah, I don't really experiment like frameworks. I feel like if you know one, you can figure out the rest. So on my end, I don't for like my personal projects, I usually just go HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. But if I usually everything that I build is like CSS art or just like a showcase page. So it's not something that you really need a framework for. But if I were ever to build something a little bit more complicated, then yes, absolutely, I would definitely use a framework. Mine are just
Absolutely.
more showy and not so much usy, if that makes sense.
Is there like anybody you follow in the JavaScript or CSS community that they really make some amazing things?
Oh my gosh. Have you seen Bruno Simon?
Mm-mm.
The 3JS journey? He has a 3JS like whole course, and it's
Mm.
incredible. Like his everything, I mean, like stop what you're doing and look him up. Incredible. Like it's everything. Like I want to be him when I grow up, like the whole thing. He's like probably the coolest developer I've ever seen. Easily.
Yeah, I'm definitely check him out. Um, what about the books? Were any books like really in terms of it?
Good question. I do like Don't Make Me Think. I forgot who wrote that one. Don't Make Me Think. It basically just tells you like not to use like so much jargon in your websites and kind of like make everything predictable and kind of just get to the point, which I love because I hate all of like the weird things that websites are filled with and all like words that just I don't know, like corporate speak pretty much. And it's just
Hmm.
kind of get to the point. A button should look like a button, a link should look like a link, things like that.
Yeah, I agree.
So I really like that one.
Yeah, I feel it's like very important to make your personality shine through with whatever you're doing. I think that's really how people end up connecting with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm a very like get to the point kind of person. I don't like
Mhm.
a lot of small talk. I even like video games. I hate having to just like walk around. I want to like immediately like get to the action. It's just yeah. That's exactly how I feel pretty much about everything.
So, are you like a NJ? Have you took the Briggs Meyer test?
No, I don't know. What is that?
Oh, okay, it's kind of like a personality test that uh, it, it 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 fits everybody into like 16 personality types. So NJ is more like a strategist. That's what they say. likes to think and plan ahead for the future, doesn't really like small talk. Um, I'm kind of along that personality lines because like a lot of the stuff that you're saying, it really mimics my thought process. So uh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I
I think
was
that makes sense. Also the self-learning thing too. You don't like a lot of like
yeah.
fluff around it. You just want to get to it and just start and get to the content and the meat of things.
And even when you mentioned in the video games, like I don't really like open world video games because you're just like wandering aimlessly.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
It's just like, like people love Zelda Breath of the Wild, and me personally, I'm
Yes.
like, it's just so
Why?
boring.
Why? I don't get it. I just want to like they're just like little walking simulators. I just want to
Yeah.
like do something actiony. Yeah, I love like Halo or Call of Duty, things like that, where you just nonstop do something all the time.
What do you think about the newest Call of Duty?
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Uh,
I hate it. I hate it. It's so slow. They're coming out with a new resurgence on the 15th, but who's counting, right? So I'm excited for that. It should be a little bit faster paced, so I'll probably go back to it then. But it's been great because I'm not playing as many video games, so I'm, working on the course.
oh yeah, yeah,
So yeah, because I don't know what I'd be doing.
yeah. Video game, they can just draw you in, and next thing you know, like 5 hours have just disappeared.
Yeah, and then another one, and then another one. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So
Are you more of a Sony or Xbox? Obviously, since you like Halo.
yes, yes, my husband is all Sony, and he will make fun of me forever because I love Xbox, and we have a game room with Sony here, Xbox here, and we just play together like that, cross compatible games. But yeah, I love my Xbox so much and my
Uh,
Halo.
so like in 5 years, like where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself still in the industry, or you think you're going to pursue more of an entrepreneurial type of thing?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you that one. I definitely do not want to be an entrepreneur. It is not my thing. My parents were entrepreneurs, or they are. And growing up, I completely respect people that do that. Absolutely. Like that's amazing. But for me, growing up in that, I would not want to. I just, nope. I like, also, I don't ever want to, manage people. That sounds like something that
Mhm.
I don't want to do either. That sounds awful to me as well. I'm very particular about these things. I just want to be at a job that's fun, where I could keep learning and where I get cool projects. Like that's it. I don't Which is kind of crazy, right? Because a lot of people are like, yeah, I want to own my own company. I want to do this, I want to do that. But
Mhm.
like I just want to keep building cool stuff. Like it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter like really with who. I just want to build cool and fun stuff and like help people along the way. Yeah, I like having, conversation. Like if I like reaching, I like talking to people that are learning because I remember when I was there and it sucked. So I enjoy doing that. Hopefully I could reach out to more people, in 5 years from now and figure out a way to like streamline that a little bit better. Um, but other than that, I just want to really be doing the same thing, just with more knowledge.
So I know something that like a lot of developers deal with is imposter syndrome. Is that something that you've dealt with, and how did you overcome it?
Oh, I still deal with it like all the time. They've like people have called me the queen of CSS, and I'm still just like, I don't think I even know CSS sometimes. Like I think imposter syndrome, I don't think it ever goes away, like ever. Yeah, it's something that I just kind of live with all the time. And it's okay though, right? Because like I feel like it kind of pushes you to try to be a little bit better every time. But there's always that little like voice inside of your head that's like, should you be doing this? Like, do you even know what you're doing? But if you can clearly make a site, if you can clearly like make something that looks good, like, yeah, you know what you're doing. As I grow older, like I realize that actually nobody knows what they're doing. So
Mhm.
that's okay. Like I haven't met a single person that's like exactly like who knows exactly what they're doing. Even my most like polished friends, my most successful friends are just like, I have no idea what's going on anytime. And that's okay. It's totally,
Absolutely.
totally fine.
Yeah, failure is definitely part of the process. Everybody I know, you know, that's where you learn some of your most valuable lessons. You fail, you see where you went wrong, then you adjust and correct. So I kind of think,
Absolutely. Like, yeah, dropping out of
mhm,
architecture school, I felt like a complete failure. Like, this is what I want to do forever. And now I'm just like, I hate it. I suck at it. Like, I don't want it anymore. Like, then what does that even make me as a person? But like, that's not who defines you as a person. It's what you do after you fall down that defines you as a person, in my opinion.
absolutely. Like me personally, I've never really liked school because I almost felt like it was a prison. Like, just sit there, do your worksheets, don't be creative, don't talk. So, the self-learning thing kind of allows me to learn without somebody looking over my back and, forcing me to do things. What is your
Exactly.
opinion on the educational system? Do you feel like it's like kind of constricting for someone such as yourself, or?
For me, absolutely. I'll tell you something. So I almost got kicked out of high school because I kept skipping because it was just so boring. Like I hated it. It was I think like the principal called me and my mom in and she was like, if she skips one more time, we're gonna have to kick her out. And there was like 4 months left of school. This is never gonna happen. So they put me in this like alternative school that was different. They instead of doing like a regular high school, they would give you like packets for all of your classes and you would just study those packets. There would be a teacher up at the front that you could ask any questions, but you could just study the packets and then take tests at the end of the week and leave whenever you feel like you studied enough. As long as you pass your test, you were good to go. I ended up graduating like 3 months early or 2 months early because it was just I loved it so much better than having to be in school and having to do a group project with someone that like is not doing their part or having to like watch a video in a classroom because it's a substitute teacher day. So it just felt kind of like a blah, like a waste of time almost. But
Mhm.
I also understand that again, I'm very particular when it comes to like learning and it took me a while to figure out how I actually learn.
Exactly. I think that's a big point because a lot of people that fail school, they think like I'm a failure in life. I'm not going to
Yes.
be able to get anywhere. But I actually find those are some of the most successful people. A lot of people end up being entrepreneurs because they don't like anybody telling them what to do. They want to experience things themselves, and school doesn't accommodate that learning style. It punishes it.
Yes, yes, and then you hear while you're in school all the time that, like, if you don't do good now or in college, like, you're a failure, blah, 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 but really, like, you're not though, at all, like, I dropped out of college, and I definitely didn't do good in high school, as we all just heard, and it's not who I am just because I didn't excel in that learning environment. You just have to figure out how you excel. I don't
Yeah,
think one size fits all.
absolutely. That's an amazing point. Like no matter where you are at life, no matter what somebody tells you, you can be a success.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when I first started learning to code, I literally like I had gotten like a ticket for $40 for something about my car, and I was crying because I was so broke. I
Mm,
couldn't even afford a $40 ticket. And then I got my first job, but like at that moment when I got that ticket, when I was crying, I was like, I'm a complete failure. Like what am I doing? Like, is it even worth trying to learn this? Like, I'm never gonna get a job in this, but like you just keep going because you're like, well, maybe, maybe I can. Like, I know how to do this. And I was able to change the background color on that. Like, maybe. And sure enough, like 3 months later, I got it. Like, and it's fine. I can totally afford a $40 ticket now.
mhm. Yeah, getting that first job is amazing because I was 30 years old, still living at home with my parents, working overnight at a hotel, making $11 an hour. It kind of makes you feel like, oh, I'm a loser or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, fast forward 6.5 years later, I'm making like 10 times that. So
Exactly.
uh, it just
Exactly. Just because you're in a bad spot now doesn't mean that it's going to stay like that forever. Like, yes, of course, you have to put in the work, but you can put in the work. You can find the time. You can totally, it's totally possible. Like, if I can do it, and I'm pretty awful at learning sometimes, anyone can do it really. It's just do it. Just do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is there any closing advice that you would love to leave with the junior developers or just any developers out there?
Uh yeah, yeah. So again, portfolios so important. So important. Make it stand out a little bit. One thing I do like to do is sometimes I'll look at like weird sites like the awwwwardsite.com. They have a bunch of weird stuff on there, like just a little animation here or there really will make your site pop and like make you stand out. Um, I think portfolio is just incredibly important. But also, if y'all ever get stuck on anything specific or something, just like always reach out to someone, you like I never did that when I was learning and I regret it because some problems took me way longer, but you don't know how open people are until you try to reach out and you can get a lot of help. There's so many kind people out there that are so willing to help. I'm totally one of them.
Absolutely. If people want to reach out to you, where can they find you at?
Uh Find me on LinkedIn, find me on Twitter. Email me. My email is on my Twitter account. Uh but yeah, I'm on both of those. Absolutely.
All right, yeah, I definitely appreciate you coming through. You had a great story. You're a great interview. We love to have you back sometime. But yeah,
Yeah, this
thanks
is
for
wonderful.
coming.
I love this. Thank you so much for inviting me over. And again, your whole setup looks so good, and I'm so
I
jealous.
appreciate it.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
thank you
Whenever you start
again.
your podcast, yeah, invite me on. All
Yeah, absolutely.
right, thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time.